Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast today. We are filming this as a video as well. If you're listening to the podcast and you just want to listen to the podcast, stay there. But if you want to go over to YouTube, we have the same thing up there. And we have a whiteboard behind us. I don't know if we're going to use it. And no, this is not Terry over here. This is Cam. Cam, say hi.
Hello.
So Cam's one of the consultants here at CCI. He works with a bunch of our clients, almost 20 of our clients right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited because we're doing a bit of an in-person event here today. And so we're going to be talking through a bunch of our clients and how, basically, what I wanted to do is because Cam's been working with so many people, a lot of our clients, they kind of get split up into two categories. And like, this is no fault of their own, but there are some clients who come in who are further ahead, who get results quicker, or they just, frankly, they hustle really, really hard to get results quick. And then some people, it takes them a couple months in our program to finally build up to where they're getting results consistently. So I wanted to talk about both those things. So if you're listening on podcast, you want to watch us on YouTube, just go over there right now. If you're on YouTube and you're like, I don't want to look at these guys, I just want to listen to the podcast, then go over to the podcast. No, I'm kidding. So before we get diving in, Cam, just give maybe a bit of a background on yourself so people get to know you, and then we're going to dive into some fun strategies for the day.
Yeah, background on myself. I was originally a client of CCI.
Was that 2020?
End of 2018 into 2019.
Okay.
Pre-world shutting down.
Yeah.
And I had come in as like an aspiring health coach with an idea for a brand, and yeah, it ended up.
I liked your brand. It was very you.
It was very much me.
It was perfectly aligned with you.
Yeah, and where I was in my life, and as a young dad and living an adventurous life with my kids and wanting to be healthy to do that. So that was really cool. And I tell some clients in CCI this, I've told them this over the last little bit, is no matter what your journey looks like, yours is unique, but you can learn a lot in other people's journeys.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from the stories that they tell. And so I like to tell CCI clients coming in about my story in CCI.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be transparent. I came into CCI so lost with just an idea, with a passion for, a group, a niche, right? For dads. And I struggled to get my first client. I think it took 5 months, almost 5.5 months for me to get. I was telling this.
I don't even remember that. For some reason, I just remember the good months you got to.
Right. And I think that's the important piece. Is people always expect something to come quickly.
Super quick. Yeah.
And for me, I was expecting that. I had been part of other mastermind groups just right before, and they were very information product based or affiliate based, and it just wasn't my vibe. And I really appreciate what CCI at that time. The message you were sharing, which was, very, you say like heart-centered coaches, but really it's just like coming from a space where you care about others enough to sell to them, to serve them and get them results. And it aligned with who I was, but I couldn't get clients. I wasn't clear enough in my messaging. Now hindsight, I wasn't clear enough in the avatar that I was actually chasing, the person that I was actually selling to, and I was trying to sell to everyone. So 5.5 months, I was going to get a client, and then my wife, I should have had this conversation with her, but I didn't. Yeah. Because I resigned.
Wives are very smart.
Yeah, and I resigned. I don't know if Kim would have let me resign at that point, but I resigned. And I think it was a month and a half after I resigned, all of a sudden the clients just started coming in.
They just started to come in.
And it became apparent that it was because it had taken me the time to build the skills that I needed to find success. Yeah. And once I had those skills, things started to roll. And so I joined, I think it was November of 2018 is when I joined CCI, worked with almost a year, and we're heading into the pandemic, and then things just blew up. And my business blew up. And that's when the months were really good. And before I knew it, I had a team of 5 and a setter and
just crushing.
VA and co-coaches, and it was crushing. And it felt good to know that I did it the right way. Would I've wanted it on the front side to happen quicker, of course. Yeah. But I learned so much through that process of just doing the hard work and being uncomfortable during that period of time and staying with it. And
our stories are so similar.
And the value of staying with it was really important.
I was 4.5 months into, I think, my second business coach before I got my first client. And coming into the program, so Terry and I used to be into network marketing. We're not anymore, okay? People come to us, they're like, oh, help me build network marketing. I'm like, no, we can't. Yeah. We got sold into this program being like, we're gonna help you with network marketing. We paid, I think it was like $8,000 or whatever at that point. This was like 2016. And then they were like, oh no, we don't help network marketing after we had paid. So it was a terrible like hook and bait kind of situation. But then they're like, we'll teach you how to build a high ticket service. Yeah. And Terry had a bunch of degrees in nutrition and I had some personal training stuff. So then we switched. But it took me 4 or 5 months to get my first client. And I find it funny because a lot of our clients right now in CCI, I would say not majority of them, but there's a decent percentage of them that got results way quicker than either of us got back in the day.
Yeah.
And even the people where it quote unquote takes longer, they're still probably getting results quicker than we did back in the day. Yeah. Probably because we had to figure all of this out, and then we figured, okay, if I need this, other people need this.
Yeah, and I believe that as the marketplace has evolved and become more educated on online sales and is somebody trying to sell to me, I think as coaches and business owners, we're also more educated on how we can more, I think, accurately display what it is that we have to serve and get it in front of the right people. Yeah. And the tools are much better now too than we had.
I love it. And this is going to be perfect because for both of us, it took a lot longer to build a business than some people. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about 2 different types of clients coming into our program. Some people where it does take them 3, 4, 5 even months sometimes to see that growth curve. But then we'll also talk about some clients who their first month in, they're crushing it. Like one of your clients that you're working with right now, Nicole, I think she's 6 weeks in.
6 weeks
she's
in.
Made like
18K
and just crushing it. So let's talk through both of these situations. And by the way, I'm completely tooting my own horn at this point, which is that most business coaches will only tell you their best stories. And I'm going to tell you, and Cam's going to tell you, some of the stories that took longer because truthfully, there's low trust in the online space right now. And I want to give you realistic expectations. For example, if you don't have a niche yet, if you have 50 followers, if you're not really posting consistently, if you've never had a client online and you're watching this, it's going to take you longer to get clients than some people who come in, they have 5,000 followers. They know who their ideal client is. They've done sales in the past. They're confident in that, right? Yeah. So we're going to give it to you straight, which is why you should listen to us instead of other people, okay? I just needed to say that. So where should we start? People who get results quick or take a bit longer? Where should we start?
Well, before even diving into both of those, I just want to reinforce what you just said.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes people longer than they expect.
Yeah.
And just because someone's getting fast results isn't something I believe everyone should measure themselves up against.
It's true.
Right? And you mentioned it. It could be they have an existing business that they've come in, they have a pipeline that's already full, lead generator that's already full, or they're starting from scratch, but their past seasons of life, whether they were in a professional position, had a business previously that's something different.
They're great at communicating.
They're great at communicating. They've had some of the skills in place. Maybe they're a professional photographer, so their content really kicks butt. Whatever it might be, people are coming into this journey at different spots. And it's important to recognize honestly where you are when you start.
Yeah, I think that's the crucial thing because that's why, I don't know about you, but that's why it took me a lot longer to get results because my content sucked. I had no clarity. I didn't have confidence. I wasn't good at communicating. I can't even say communicating. I'm still bad at communicating. No, and actually I was going to draw this out a little bit because I feel like we talk about this a lot about what are all the check boxes of what people need to get results, right? We talk about clarity a lot. Clarity as far as their niche and their offer, right? So some of you might be very clear on your niche and your offer, but some people come in and they don't have that check mark yet. Then I think there could be just something about confidence and communication, right? So some people come in and they're very confident or they're really good at communication, and some of us need to work our tails off to get there. That was me, right? We talked a lot about, okay, once you have those things, then we need to make sure that we're posting content consistently. These are all C's so far. I wish I could keep going with C's, but it's not going to keep going that way. So people need to be posting consistent. Then they need to be growing their audience, right? So they need to we use mini ads set up so that they're getting volume. And then they need to get really good at conversation. See, another C, I should have kept it going. And then conversion, sales call. See,
you're gonna have to find something.
I need to find a C for that one.
Yeah.
But basically, a lot of it. So these are all check marks of okay, then you can get clients. Wow, Cam, I'm going to chat GPT after this.
You know what? I actually don't mind that one's different, because from a consulting perspective, when you look at the first three, and clarity, confidence, and content, those are really the foundational building blocks. Where then we run a mini ad, and the mini ad is like the switch we turn on. And unless you have that foundation in place, that mini ad, the 1M on here, is really that main action that you take that then shifts to the last 3 C's, which is the conversations, the conversion, and the clients. So the fact that it's different and it's right in the middle,
like that it's different.
I think it is,
That's
because
perfect.
it stands out as that turning point in your journey, that when you get to that point, you're moving on to the next 3 C's.
I love that. Well, you explained this so well. The mini ad takes this foundation and it amplifies it. So now that you got basically all of this volume of people, right? Now you have the right people, you have the right amount, the right types of people, and that's when we get into the conversations, and then we take them along the client journey. I like that. Wow, it's actually like we know something. We know something about this. So let's start by talking about some people who take longer to get results, because we all want quick wins, but truthfully, I've never really gotten quick wins in life. Like when I think about, I used to be a professional musician, it took me 7 years to get to that place, or building a business, it took me a long time to get to even having like a full-time income, or even like any of my hobbies in the mountains or whatever. It takes years to build this kind of stuff. So let's talk about the people who took a little bit longer to get results. Some of your clients, I know we talked about this before. What are some of the things, so let's actually talk about this in 2 different ways. Why do you feel like for some of these clients it takes them longer, and the importance of sticking around and actually staying with it?
Okay. I would say it's twofold. I think the reason that it takes some people longer, of course, there's the direct correlation to lack of clarity, lack of confidence, lack of content. And by lack of content, you can put out a whole bunch of content, but if it stinks, it stinks. It's still a lack of good content. And so when you have a lack of clarity on who you are to serve, so are you extremely clear on your niche, on the person you're meant to serve? So you need to have a who and you need to have a what. Like, who are you serving and what is their problem? And unless you have crystal clarity about what that is, you'll struggle, because your confidence in speaking to that person isn't there, because do I need to shift my messaging this way for that person? Do I need to shift it here? You are a mentor, and like we can mention, like this guy's name's Ed Mindlet, and he's like one of the biggest coaches in the world. But he always says you're most powerfully positioned to serve who you once were. And I think we are too quick to overlook who we once were. And we don't think that it's good enough to serve other people, and we have to become something we aren't. And so the people who take longer kind of wade through that mess of identifying who is it that I'm powerfully positioned to serve. And do I have a clear who, and do they have a clear what, a problem that I can solve? Once you've hit that threshold and hit that checkbox, then it's moving into the confidence and the communication side of it, where now that I know who I'm meant to serve, it takes a little bit of time to know the language that I need to use to get there. So when I'm speaking to that one person, what is the language that they hear? It's like whispering in their ear so they know that you're talking specifically to them. And then when you get to the content, does my content now speak to that person? Am I super clear on? With the words that they would use in the way that they would want to hear them, knowing that you're speaking directly to them. And sometimes those 3 checkboxes, that takes time.
It takes time. Let's talk about a specific example. Last time we met up in person, one of our clients, Victoria, shout out Victoria.
Hey, Victoria.
She was working on getting that clarity. And it was like, there was some like bubbling momentum in some senses. But talk about the flip that basically was switched when we got that locked in clarity, and talk about the difference of her mini ads and her content prior to after getting that foundation.
So what happened is we moved so quickly through the three first boxes, right? Clarity, confidence, content, let's go, let's get that mini ad up and going. And it just wasn't sticking. Like there was something missing. And in one of her messages to me, Victoria, and if you're listening to this, I want to thank you for being vulnerable and open. Victoria shared part of her past that immediately I was like, that's your story. Why aren't you sharing that? Why aren't you serving that person? And Victoria helps moms, or we wanted to help moms, busy moms, and their health. And great, and there was a great purpose and a why behind it, but there was no feeling to it. There's no specificity to it. But when Victoria said, well, this has been my past, this is something that I've dealt with as a mom and as a professional, and this is where I want to go, then she re-niched. She got really more clear and refined on who and what the problem was. And now she's serving moms who are newly diagnosed with celiac and are trying to now navigate the complexity that has in their life through nutrition, through lifestyle, through family, all of it. And she feels really good about it. And what happened was you saw the shift in her content. So now she's crystal clear. Crystal clear. She has way more confidence because she knows exactly what she's talking about. She was that person. She was that person, still lives through that day to day. And then in her content, you can feel it and you can hear it and you can see it in just the way that she shows up. And so we recrafted her mini ad.
And how much better is it performing now?
The lead, like, Victoria, you're listening to this, like the leads that you're getting right now, the leads that Victoria is getting are so much more qualified, so much more aligned to who she is meant to serve. And now it might have felt slow at the beginning, but now momentum's picking up.
And there's so many leads. I mean, you were showing me this morning something about like 21 cents per follower or something. Which is crazy because like if you're spending $10 a day like most of our clients do, that's 50 followers a day. That's 350 a week. That's like 1,500 a month. And when you think about that volume, then it's like, great, we have so much to like play with when it comes to conversations and sales calls. So like, that's where, and for some people, it does take them a little bit of time, right? Because we come in and we try to like move through things quickly, but sometimes getting the foundation built takes a month or 2 months, right? And as much as we want to be getting the outcome, right? The clients coming in, sometimes it takes a little bit to get this going. And then even when the volume's crazy high, then we need to work on being skillful in conversations and booking calls and having a good sales experience as well.
Yeah, because we have clients right now who are crystal clear, super confident, have great content, their mini ads performing really well, and they're starting to get even they're to the point where they're having conversations starting. We'll talk. Can I talk about two?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 clients right now. So Crudy's with us. Hi, Crudy, and Rekha's with us, and they've been at this for a bit, and it's been felt slow. Like they're 5 months in, and it's felt slow, but both of them have sent over and have engaged in over 2,000 conversations in the last 4 weeks.
Wow.
The reply rate is really high, which is one of the KPI metrics that we use in CCI to measure, like, is your message landing? And so just for background, if you don't know, we look at how many conversations you're putting out, your reply rate, your call offer percentage of those reply rate, and then you're out of those call offers, who jumps on a call, and how many sales you get. And so we look at those numbers. That data is super important in informing our practice. Like, we don't just make this up as we go. We look at the numbers, and given experience and what we've seen, we can give like really meaningful feedback and actionable items that we can take with our clients right away. So both Rekha and Crudy have really great momentum when it comes to conversations, but right now it's the conversion piece, and it's understanding this might take some time to see what lands to have people reply and jump on a call. And so this is the beauty of this whole model, is that just because we're that far down doesn't mean we don't revisit the beginning. And so if anywhere along this road you run in, if I was to say this was a road and these were sidewalk blocks, you're walking there and you hit a fence or you hit a barrier, and you're like, okay, what is it that's going to eliminate that barrier? Do I need to come back here and take care of this box of clarity to eliminate a barrier down the road? And that might be it. So it's this constant back and forth, and that takes time. It takes thought, it takes process, because building a business takes that. It takes that intentionality between every step along the way.
And it's actually interesting when you look at it as a whole, is that some people come in and let's say they'll have these 3 and they're actually good at conversion, and all they need is the leads and how to book the calls, right? And we're going to talk about some of those people who can move a lot quicker. It's because out of these, whatever this is, 7 boxes, they have 5 out of the 7 already. Versus some people come in brand new, and we have to basically go, okay, you want this type of client, So we need to get, basically then we reverse engineer the whole thing. Okay, you want this type of client, this amount, so we need to have this amount of sales calls, this amount of conversations, the mini ad needs to call out that person. We have to kind of like reverse engineer the entire thing. And when someone's brand new, sometimes we can get it right the first time, and like they're good at getting the clarity. But then as soon as like if someone wants to shift their niche, which we try to make it that people don't shift their niche all the time, but like for Victoria, it was the perfect play.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, great, boom, now that's all working. These are all like green lights now, and then we need to just focus on these. And so in business, I think you could probably actually see it as how to get to clients faster is by having all of these other boxes checked off correctly. Yeah. And sometimes that can happen quick, depending on people's situation. And sometimes it takes a little bit.
Can I just share, because we're gonna move into like people who got results quickly. Sometimes when you come into this journey, you're already further along in this path.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't always reflect success right away.
It's true.
There are some people who are very successful in person. There are people who are very good in person. Maybe they've worked in an in-person facility. Maybe they've worked in a clinic. Maybe they've worked in a hospital. Like we have people like that. And they're finding that even though that worked in that space, they feel that they're further along in the journey. And when we say, you know what, we have to come back 4 or 5 steps, and we need to work on these skills. We need to work on this clarity.
Yeah.
We need to work on your confidence in communicating.
It's true.
We need to work on your content because it kind of stinks, but I know what you're trying to get at. That's why we actually have specific trainings in CCI for each one of these things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And group calls in the week that we talk about these things. So when we look at that, even though you feel like you're coming in, you're further along the journey, doesn't always necessarily mean you're going to get clients quickly.
Well, sometimes you have to relearn things or unlearn things.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, stuff that works in person, we've had a lot of people do like in-person stuff. Let's say lots of personal trainers or even like nutritionists at practices in person. People coming into your practice, they're looking to buy. They're like the hottest leads in the world. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm really good at selling in person.
They've walked in the door.
They've walked in the door.
Right.
Like if I go in to buy shoes at a shoe store, you could be the worst salesperson or the best salesperson. I will buy the shoes.
But you've probably already searched out online.
Exactly.
You've seen the style that you like.
I've checked out all the content.
Right.
Yeah.
You've seen the content.
Yeah.
You've built trust with that brand and that shoe that you already know you want to buy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus online, you get these brand new followers. You're going to have to do more legwork to warm them up, and you actually have to be better at sales, right?
Yes.
And this is where building a business just does require you to get better at things. And if you're anything like me, I was and still sometimes am, a very defensive person, and I can have my ego being pretty high because I've been able to get good at a lot of things in life. And one of the things I've learned that is if you come into a program or you're wanting to try something new, you have to leave your ego outside the door, let the defensiveness come down, because that's the only way to learn. As soon as you think that there's nothing to learn or that you're good at something, you're gonna start to avoid the conversations that could actually help you. You know what I mean? I was reading a fantasy book with my brother right now. And there was this scene where this king was teaching this other guy how to play like a board game. It was a made-up board game. And he talked about how he loved losing. And this young guy was like, why does this king like losing? And he's like, because every time I lose, I learn and I get better. And it absolutely it excites me when I didn't win. And it was actually it was a powerful moment in that book where I was just like, oh, I want to find out what I'm not good at, so I will pursue it. And so, anyways, that's a bit of a tangent on like, you're not going to necessarily be good at all these things. Yeah, we have like maybe 5% of our clients come in and they can just crush it out of the gates, right?
Yeah, right out of the gate.
But anyways, I think the main message here is like, hey, these are all the boxes that most of you will need to hit to get to your first 10K month, 20K month. And for some people it'll happen quick, for a lot of people it won't. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like anything worth having in life, you should give a lot of effort for a long time. There's a reason only whatever it is, 15 or 20% of entrepreneurs stick around. We've started to talk about in CCI, staying power is like a new term that we're starting to use, which is like, if you want to truly help people long term, build a good revenue, like be in this space a long time, you got to have staying power. You just got to be resilient. You just got to be able to basically not quit.
Yeah, be committed to it.
Be committed to it. Because I would say like all the clients we've helped get to like really incredible numbers, like 50K months or a 6-figure month or a 7-figure business, all of those people, it took years to get there.
Right.
And
it didn't happen in 3 months.
It didn't happen in 3 months.
Yeah.
And so like here's the cool thing about business. It's going to be harder than a 9-to-5, but the opportunity is far greater.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's only going to be greater the longer you stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
I often think like every month I stay in business longer than my competitors is another month I have way more opportunity to grow and to help more people. And if I would have quit 5 years ago, like a lot of people did, a lot of people quit before COVID, a lot of people quit in COVID, a lot of people even quit like 2 years after COVID because COVID in some ways made it easier. You'd be missing out on so much. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. Let's talk about clients who do win quicker and what you notice as far as maybe what they have checked off already and what they focus on, let's say in those first 30 days, where you can just see them like, okay, they're winning quick. And like I know we talked about Nicole, we talked about Sandra, your client, one of your clients, Julia.
Yeah.
Walk me through maybe some of the things that you noticed that caused them to get results quicker.
Yeah, all three of those are really great examples. So first, it's they're super clear on who they want to serve.
Yeah.
So all three very specialized in their niche. So serving someone specific with a specific problem. And they knew that coming in. Yeah. There was some refinement on how to message that person, but they knew. So Sandra, it's like, I work with ultra runners. This is who I work with. Yeah. Julia, I work with women who want to get their period back so they can
they've
get
lost
pregnant.
Their period.
And then Nicole, she actually came in first because she had a athlete coaching business.
That's right. There's a shift right in that first.
And she was thinking about building the athlete coaching business while also building a dietitian coaching business, helping dietitians start their own business.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why are you focusing on the athlete? Like, where do you want to spend your time?
Yeah.
And she said, well, I don't know, either or. I said, and through a conversation, we just got really clear on where her heart lied, and it was time for her to shift seasons. And stop chasing something that felt safe and do what she actually wanted to do. And so she leaned in.
Yeah, so that was a big shift up here.
It was a big shift in clarity, but where she didn't have clarity, she already had confidence.
And probably already had some of these other skills as far as she had done sales.
She had the confidence, she had done sales before, she had done content before. Yeah. And so those barriers of, okay, now what do I say? Or how am I going to put this out there? Or who do I connect with? Those questions didn't exist.
Yeah.
When she got crystal clear on who it was that she was serving, she moved really quickly to the the outreach, 100%. The connection, and got right into the sales.
And I'll interrupt you at this point. And this is something this is why I love helping people grow this skill set. Because let's say overnight, CCI was no longer a coaching business. I've built the business for many, many years, and I know all of these pieces, plus the other stuff for scaling. If I wanted to completely switch things, and I wanted to be like, I'm going to help people be better hikers, or a trail running coach, or whatever it is, because I have done this in a different sense, I could probably accelerate a different business very quickly. So Nicole is a similar situation where she had kind of like this business.
Followed the framework.
It's basically, she just shifted it, obviously added some new strategies in.
But she also did what we asked.
Exactly.
She also did the work.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she flipped a switch and she started getting clients. She did the work. And she's still doing the work. Like you said, you're walking through the muck right now.
Yeah, totally.
And there's a lot of stuff, but she also has a timeline.
Yeah.
Right, which I also think is really good when you have a goal or a timeline where you want a checkpoint along the way. And so she has an important timeline in her life that she's working towards right now. And so that also is a driving factor. It's I'm committing to this for this period of time, not because I'm going to be done at the end of this, but because I know I'm going to grow through this, and I want my next steps to be happening 6 months from now, 5 months from now. Yeah.
I love that. So basically you're saying the people who grew quicker, they had clarity faster, even though Nicole shifted from like one thing to another, but Julia and Sandra, clarity.
Well, let's talk about Sandra for a moment. So Sandra's working with ultra runners. She wasn't quite sure what to do with an info product or do her info product or do a coaching program. She already had a team. Right. She already has people working with her, but she also started traveling the world, getting married in Australia and New Zealand. And
Sandra, you're crazy if you're watching.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
But what she was crystal clear on was who she was going to serve. She had great content. Although, if you're listening to this, Sandra, when I said you need to go to your personal Instagram account, like be you instead of your brand of your business, be you.
Personal.
And there was a 3-week, 2-week period, it was pushed back and forth. And then I appreciate your message, Sandra, where you said, you know what? Now I see it. Now I get it. I'm so glad I did this. It feels so much more natural just to be me.
Yeah.
So there was a little pushback there on when it came to the content and who to speak to and where to put that. But outside of that, very clear on who she's serving, very confident in their approach because she's very experienced in it, has a team already, so she can push the mini ads, she can push the conversion, she can push
she can push clients over to those people.
Exactly.
And that's where these people who are moving quicker, it seems like they have a little bit more check marks, right? Because even Sandra, I'm sure she'd done sales before. She had posted a bunch of content before. Like she had some clarity. Yeah, we worked on some different things, but she probably had the confidence and communication skills already, right?
Right.
And similar to Julia, Julie had
Dr. Julia.
Dr. Julia, yes, doctor had like, I mean, she had really good clarity, the really good communicator. Had posted some content, and it was also, I think the other thing I want to throw in here for people who are moving quickly is a work ethic, right? Because there are some people who
fast action
maybe don't have all of these things, but if they have the clarity and the confidence and they're willing to just work hard.
Julia did not have a business before.
Right.
She was driven.
Right, we got her first client ever came through this,
she had 2 clients before our first coaching
2 clients,
call.
okay.
Before our first
from our strategies.
Yes. She got in and she went through the 14-day sprint.
Yeah.
And she didn't just watch the videos.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You don't learn by watching. You learn by doing. And so she watched, but she took action. So it was like she would watch one module, take action on it.
Yeah.
Check in with me on Slack. Watch a video, take action on it, check in with, and just moved quickly with intention. And she said, got my first client, my next client. I was like, this is incredible. I love having people get wins before our onboarding call.
Which is pretty cool. And maybe she hadn't ran mini ads before. I don't think she had team conversations or even sales calls before. So she didn't have these 4 check boxes here, but she had the foundation pretty good and she just went for it.
Got quick clients. But here's the thing, quick clients doesn't always mean always clients. Because we've gotten to a point now in Julia's journey where now we have to refine some of the messaging, maybe some of the outreach, and continue those clients coming in on the sales calls.
Just because this was good enough to get her first bunch of clients doesn't mean we don't keep working on it.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, we're done, good. It's no, there's always something to refine and to work on.
Well, and that's actually an interesting thing. So I pulled data on this like a month back. I was looking at what's the main difference between people who are 5K per month to 20K per month. Now, there was a bit of an increase of volume. They needed a little bit more leads, but the biggest indicator was that they were just simply more skillful at conversations and more skillful at sales calls.
Yeah, this isn't a work harder.
No.
Just go work harder, you'll get results. No, it's build the skills.
To get to 5K months, actually, I think I would just say work harder. I would basically get your clarity in your foundation and the mini ads and just take messy action and just work.
Yep.
But then once, because in my mind, I'm just like it's like if someone's a brand new runner being like, what should I do to get better at running? Like, just go run. Yeah. But from 5K months to 20K months, it was skill building was the biggest indicator. Yes. Did they need a little bit more volume? Yes. But it wasn't like this is a 4x in revenue. I think they needed maybe a 1.5 to 2x volume increase, right? So they needed a bit of volume increase. But mainly it was skills and actually raising the prices as well, for most people.
Which is also one of the tactics that we use. We talk about different cash injection methods in CCI, which we'll implement with different clients depending on where they are. It's not a one-size-fits-all model.
Exactly.
We have a framework and we build from it individually with each client. But yes, increasing prices is one tactic that we'd use once you have the skills to be able to do that.
Yeah, and we did notice that as well. For the people who are 5K months and then 10K months and then 20K months and then 50K months, it was a very steady progression of the people who are at the higher per month mark also had the higher priced products or services, I should say. So, no, I love this. Now, folks, if you have questions, by the way, if you haven't been if you're obviously on YouTube, you can comment your questions down below. But if you're on the podcast and you have questions, throw them over to us in the DMs. I want to start to create some more content around this that's really in-depth stuff. I think the biggest thing is, here's actually what I'm going to get you folks to do, because like Cam said, just listening to something is not going to change your life. Listening and then taking that and implementing it and doing something different or doing something more is going to change your life and change your business. Here's what I would like you to do, is look at these different boxes, and I want you to give yourself a self-audit on like which ones you think you got checked off you're good on, which ones do you feel like are your weak points. If you want help with that, send me or Terry a message if you're following Terry on her Instagram about what are the areas that you feel like you need help with most. We can send you whether it's free resources or point you in the right direction of like what are the best next steps for you. Because for all of you, if you're not if you're not at 20K months, then you need to work on these things. Once you get to 20K months, then there's a whole nother layer that we'll add in as far as delegating and automating and different things like that. But if you're not at 20K months, you just need to work on basically these 7 things. So actually do something off of this video, which is send me or Terry a message with, hey, this is what I need help with, so that we can help you with things. And this isn't just like a video that's wasted and you're not gonna even remember it in like a day or two. So any final things you wanted to say?
Can they see all 7 things on YouTube? Can you name them?
Yeah, let's name them, because I know this marker is not great. So I'll go through these one at a time. So clarity is the first one, which is just basically clarity on your niche, so your ideal client and your offer. Okay, so clarity on who you help and your program of like how you help them, right? So making sure that you have that. The second thing is just confidence and communication. I wanted to put it here just because some people are very clear, but they're just not very confident in selling, or they're not great at communication, which just comes through reps. Some of you naturally will have those things, just how you were brought up or the jobs you've worked or whatever it is, but confidence and communication. Then we have content. How good is your content? Are you posting content consistently? And is that set up? Then we have our mini ad, which is basically, we have a very specific strategy. It's not just boosting a random post that's doing well. It's a very specific strategy to use on Instagram to get, on the low end, 10 to 20 followers per day, on the high end, 50 to 100 followers per day. So that's that box. And then we have conversations, which is like DM conversations. Are you having DM conversations the right amount? And are they converting to sales calls? And then we have conversion, which is sales calls. Are you having sales calls? Are you converting them? Are you not really good at sales yet? Do you need to get better at that? And then we have clients. Are you getting the amount of clients you're looking for? So those are the different boxes we want to think about. So that's good, because yeah, the marker is pretty weak on here, so hopefully you folks can see it. We'll see after the fact. But anyways, folks, comment down below your questions or what you need help with, and we'll see you folks in the next episode, because we need to go have lunch. I'm really hungry. Awesome. Bye, folks. That was fun. I don't know about you, but I like that kind of stuff.